Woo,
Wow.
yeah. So much for us being
Oh my gosh.
We're computer literate to a certain extent. So yeah, I guess
To a certain extent.
we can't have kids. It's got to be 18 and up. It's interesting.
Yeah. Well, too. Some things we're going to talk about is kind of kid. I guess, but
Yeah. So our apologies. Technical difficulty. Yeah, hi, everybody.
We had no clue what we were doing.
Yeah.
Let's just go ahead and put that out there.
Yeah, that's what happens with age.
That's exactly what happens.
I don't feel as old as I probably am trying to get this going, but at least I got it working. Thank God. Hello, everyone.
And Craig is
and being Craig
behind us, being a puppy. So we're just gonna have to. Can't take the puppy out of him.
No, we even have monks singing in the background to try to calm this dog down. He's just high energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. How's everybody doing?
Yeah.
Oh, you look beautiful, Sherry, doesn't she? I hope you're doing well today. All right.
We're going to talk about that a little bit today.
Yep.
And, what we've been doing and enduring and more journeys the universe sends us.
Hi, Michelle.
Oh, there she is.
Long time.
And I just got your message this morning, Michelle. So I'll be sending you a detailed synopsis of what I actually went through on Saturday. Anyway, I will do that. Yeah. So yeah, we've been very busy working. We have not stopped. We keep going.
Amen. Because healing is that important. So I don't know that we'll ever find a spot where we will even stop doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see here. We've got some questions from the group, but we also have some. Do you want to go over? What do you want to do first?
It's completely up to you. Whatever we can do. We can. This puppy would stop.
He doesn't know how to stop.
Yeah.
So we've got some questions from the group because we did post that we would be on today, and we're going to answer those questions. And we're going to try to get through this and have some fun with you guys at the same time. So, but first, let's just break into the serious stuff and get it out the way.
It's kind of informing finally the public and people who are interested in subscribers to our channel exactly what's going on with us and me particularly, which means us. Inevitably, we're going to do a lot of talk about connection and in the twin flame dynamic too, as well when it comes to physical illness and the 3D and the 5D connection, which is really interesting, and it has been really interesting for the past few weeks. You've been watching our videos for a long time. I had that chronic cough. It's still off and on. It's this. Not more, not less, just that. And often wondered what it was, tried to get it checked out, all the fun stuff. And but was getting pretty sick in September. We do a fundraiser in September. And we're doing it this year for Rupert's kids. And Rupert's kids, Rupert is got a big chunk of our hearts. He helps children who are coming out of juvenile detention and even grown adults who are coming out of incarceration and gives them and provides this halfway house and an amazing job opportunities and all kinds of amazing stuff. Anyway, kind of wore me down last year because Sherry doesn't know the word delegate. I've learned it. I've learned it well. And this year I'm still doing the fundraiser, but I'm going to be doing a lot of delegating. Was feeling pretty sick in September, or pretty much all of September. I'm just going to throw it out there. But I attributed it to stress and just wore down and tired. We finally got to the hospital. And long story short, series of tests, lots of testing, lots of things happening. I had a cancer diagnosis first. Cancer still has not been staged. actually, we did look at an online portal last night where I don't know if it's a condition that they checked, and that's the only one they could check. I don't know. But nevertheless, in doing all that testing, okay, that's cool. I did a lot of thought processing, and I'm not going to run a bunch of chemicals through my body. We're going to take some alternative routes, and we're going to kick its ass, and we're going to keep going. So, that was it. Well, then doing a lot more testing, they find out that I'm also in stage 4 cirrhosis of the liver, end-stage cirrhosis of the liver. My father died of cirrhosis of the liver at 48. I am 49. And so it sort of, let's not forget type 2 diabetes. We can't leave a disease out.
No.
I don't do anything little. I do it all big. I got to go all out. So here's what we have to say about that. These are 3D doctors. I don't feel sick, except for I have some symptoms of this basic symptom of cirrhosis. You don't want me to say it because I'm going to chop it up. But the abbreviated word is HE, H-E.
Hepatic
Hepatic encephalopathy.
There you go. Got it.
Nevertheless, so that's this a reason that my cough's been happening for years, and this thing it's attributed to a lot of this memory loss, stuttering, losing my train of thought, not being able to speak, things like that. The toxins are building up in my body, going to my head, and I'm losing some cognitive skills. And things like that. So it's been kind of a rough little journey trying to figure some things out. I do want to say thank you to all of the people who have offered pieces of their liver. Things such as Reiki healing and energy healing. I'm accepting all of that. Here's the interesting thing. The cancer is canceling out. I cannot do chemo and radiation for the cancer if I wanted to, because my liver it's done. So it would kill the rest of my liver. My liver is far gone past living donor. I can no longer do that. I'm in final stages of cirrhosis. My liver is decompensating, meaning that the toxins are building up in my body, and the prognosis for my actual liver in my body now is 1 to 3 years. So I have to get the cancer in remission and keep it in remission for approximately a year, and in order to get on a full transplant list for my liver. So I do not qualify for a transplant at this time. I do not qualify for a living donor ever. I don't know if I'm on the 1 year side or on the 3 year side with my liver. So we're sort of taking a risk here with my 3D life. But I just have to go in and we're going to try to figure out how to attack these cancer cells. I'm hoping naturally. I'm using a very aggressive alternate medication, and we are going to ride this out. And then I'm sorry that you cannot donate me a whole liver, because you cannot be here in order to do so. But thanks for the offers. Go ahead.
You can find more of this information. She does have a Caring Bridge site where she gives updates about what she's going through.
I can put that in the comments.
Yeah, that we can post that here, so that way you guys can follow along if you'd like, because we're not going to put that out there because we're still focused on healing connection, healing others' connections, because if we focus on the healing should come. I think that's kind of our approach in the whole thing and why we're doing it. We're not taking any donations or anything like that. We're not looking for a GoFundMe or anything like that. We are, however, looking to keep healing. So
That's-
if you're ready to do the work, we're right here.
That's very important to me. I really want to reiterate that. Universe has given us a mission to help people go into healing and really help people navigate through this twin flame journey.
Mhm.
Lee and I have been through some journeys. This is just another journey to us, this cancer and cirrhosis thing. It's just another journey. So what we would like, let's face it, we're self-employed. We have no health insurance, and that's part of being self-employed. I do not wish for anybody to start any GoFundMe campaigns or any type of crowdsourcing campaigns. What we want to do is what the universe has asked us to do and continue to do, is help people go into healing. So we will certainly, if you would like to get a root camp package and donate it to somebody on our waiting list, we have quite a long waiting list of people who would like to get in and get their inner work done, or working on it and get it into healing. And there are people really wanting to do the work. If you're at a place where you want to help somebody out to be able to do the work, you can certainly do that. We will put somebody through the program. We will, even if it's at one session, we have people on the waiting list. So that way we are still honoring our journey. We are still helping others go into healing, and you can help. So that if you're interested in helping, that's how you can help. And you can email us at info@relationshipreinvented.com for any information on that. And that goes for anything. That goes for even a personal reading from me. It goes for root camp, coaching certification, connection guide training, any of that.
Yep. And we love you. We all love you. And we're all sending you healing energy. And in this connection, everything is felt. I still go through pretty much what she goes through. I have memory lapses. I do testimonial here and there. So a lot of the same things will show up in this connection, that since we are so deeply connected and deeply rooted in that connection, I experience a lot of what she experiences, whether it's my legs giving out on me or whether it's a sharp pain in a lot of different locations here anymore. But it's really quite surreal, because you just don't know how deep this connection can go until you've reached that vulnerability or that space where you actually do feel everything in connection. We don't make it into, we don't really keep this channel here for the spiritual, the metaphysical, and all the ethereal and all that, because we knew there needed to be a channel for specifically how to navigate your ego. Because thought patterns and processes have a way of infecting you in this connection and actually show you what has happened to you all along in connection to yourself based on that infection. So we're going to keep things still the same. We're going to be here loving each one of you. And, we're going to continue to really utilize our energy and connection for healing, not just with ourselves, but with all of you. So know that we're here, we're listening, we got you. And if you guys need us for anything, please don't hesitate to email. You can email, like she said, info@relationshipreinvented.com or relationshipreinvented@gmail.com. Either one. So
let's get down to
some questions.
We just really wanted to let everybody know what was going on, but
Absolutely.
We also wanted to talk to our families first.
Yeah.
And kind of make sure that our families were informed on everything that was going on. And the Caring Bridge site's been up. I'll put that link down here in the comments for my Caring Bridge site. And it's basically a journaling site where I'm going in after my appointments, or if I'm particularly having a bad day and need to vent or whatever, I'm going in there and doing so. And for those, who are interested in this journey, this new journey we're going through, I actually thought about documenting it at one point, but I find when I get into situations where I can't think about or remember to have them document it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That I forget. So I might go ahead and get it documented a little bit. Maybe we'll do some videos surrounding the I'm going to call it the 1 to 3 year marathon, right?
Yeah.
It's hard with kids and grandkids to put an end time to your life when you're not even 50. But the fact of the matter is my liver only has 3 good years left in it, and we have cancer to kill, so we can get me another one. And who knows how long that waiting list is. So let's keep it realistic. However, I have amazing spirit guides and a lot of faith, and I'm keeping my blood full of a lot of alternative medications. So let's just say that. Yes, I was going to answer, Mama. The readings do energetically wear me out, but I got to keep going. And if I do a reading, I won't do a whole lot afterwards that day. So that's why I only really book medium readings once a month or so, 1 or 2 a month.
Yep.
That's it. Yeah. So there's that, and let's get to some questions.
Yeah, we have a few here, and we have some, of course, you guys are putting in the chat. So let me see if we can tackle. We'll just alternate, I guess.
Yeah. We've got some. If you're not a part of our work group on Facebook, we have a Twin Flame work group on Facebook. I believe it's simply called Twin Flame Work Group by Relationship Reinvented. It's so creative. Come on there. And these questions are actually from that group. We have an amazing group. We don't allow the toxicity in. If we see it, it's out. It's very peaceful, loving, accepting, non-judgmental Twin Flame work group. Keep in mind, it says work group. You got to do your work.
Yeah, we got some great coaches and moderators in there. If anything should arise, you can immediately get a hold of them, and they'll handle just about anything. So, again, that's a Twin Flame work group by Relationship Reinvented.
That's here.
Yep. All right. So, one of the questions we have from here, then we'll come over to the chat part. I want to know how to deal with twin interrupting me as I'm trying to take care of my physical health. Emotions play a big part in healing, and he keeps me crazy. His last stump was telling me he might have cancer. For some reason, I didn't believe him. I guess when you look at the connection you have to yourself, when you allow somebody to interrupt you who you're connected to, it's a wound. You need to pay attention to this wound. The wound isn't being activated by them. It's being activated by your thought patterns and processes. I mean, to feel like you can't focus on your own health and focus on your own emotions, and then you have this outside interference, is there a part of you on the inside that is allowing that and then taking it and making it that they're causing this in you instead of you participating and allowing that behavior to continue? I would look first inside, see what it is about your connection to yourself that allows that kind of disruption in that connection to yourself. That's a place that you would probably want to look first, because this is about your connection to you first before it is about your connection to them. If you put them ahead of your own, that's going to affect your physical health by itself and affect your emotional connection. Now let's do one question over here. Did you want to add anything to that?
No, I was trying to find the comment so I could put that in there, but I can't.
Oh.
I was afraid I was going to cut you off.
All right.
I almost cut the whole live stream off,
well,
so I'm going to keep my hands off of it.
Let's see here. I'm going back through. Thank you guys for all the messages regarding the liver, regarding the cancer. We really appreciate that. A lot of the information, trust us, she gets bombarded with it and she can get overwhelmed with it. So we've got some pretty good team of people that are helping us. And if you do have information you'd like to send, please do so. But if she doesn't respond back to you, please don't go off on her for that, because you can imagine you get kind of overwhelmed when you keep getting hit side by side by everybody who wants her to be in healing. Trust me, nobody wants it more than me, and I'm with her day and night. So we're really working through that. But your prayers, your healing energy,
Reiki, all that
all of
from
that,
a distance too.
completely accepting that. So
Yeah.
please, thank you for that. So let's see here. Connection. What do I do when I found someone, but my twin haunts my new relationship? I feel like I'm betraying my new partner. This is a really good question. You want me to take it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's a couple of things that happen in connection. Number one, the connection you have with your twin, did it reflect back to you your connection to yourself? Let's make sure that we outline what connection is and what relationship is. Connection is, it has no bounds, it has no boundaries, it just comes right through. Sorry, but sometimes it does just knock walls down in the inside of you that you had up before you didn't even know this connection existed. Relationship is an interesting thing now that we've really had a majority of time to really work on not just relationships as it pertains to soul connections, soulmates, marriages, and so on and so forth. But relationships come with a set of standards and rules and boundaries that really kind of go off of your hurt versus your love. In other words, you will actually choose certain boundaries, choose ways to be treated, look at ways that you want, and you will attract those things, but you're going to attract the opposites in relationship as well. Relationships don't have the same kind of connection. It is a connection, but it's one where you kind of just go side by side rather than being challenged in the connection. So if you're looking at it from that standpoint, are you cheating on your connection with the person you're in a relationship with? That the person in the relationship with has your truth and they're still choosing you. That's what you're looking for. Don't have a relationship where you got to hide parts of yourself, because that's also you hiding yourself from yourself and then getting upset with the person for loving you in a space where they didn't even know you. So you got to be very, very careful of this. We've seen that quite a bit, where you can choose somebody who's going to love you, but they're not going to know you. And it starts to aggravate you after a period of time because they really don't know you to the depth that you know yourself. And you're kind of keeping yourself hidden.
I took a different approach to that to avoid a lot of that.
Please share.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
When you and I were in separation and I came across somebody else who was interested, right? Instead of falling into that, I just laid it all out. I can be with you. Let's go have a party, go have dinner, whatever. I just want you to know right off the bat, right off the rip, that this one will be with us at all times.
Yeah, well, as much as I look
I
at it now,
I did.
But you told the truth and you were
I did.
accepted in that truth. Yeah. But that truth also opened up the door for us to be more truthful with one another.
I can remember his exact words. He was like, "Are you ever going to be back together?" I'm like, "No." He was like, "I'm cool with that." Okay.
Right.
I clearly lied.
God.
I didn't mean to.
Well,
I didn't know I was lying. So is that a lie?
Right, but no. I mean, well, at that point in time,
I did not know I was lying. No, right. That was my truth. Yes.
And sometimes that truth is
tables bothering. No, there's no dog. It's
okay. But sometimes it's the kind of truth that you actually do need to have.
I don't suggest that, by the way, right off the bat. But well, I do suggest honesty in the beginning. Like, I have a connection.
I think being truthful tells the truth about it. It makes you not feel like you have to hide anything. Because let me tell you, the strangest thing is trying to be in a relationship while you can feel the person you're connected to. And you're not, that's not the same person. It's a very odd experience until you come out and start talking about it.
Right.
And talking about it is going to help you as much as it's going to help that person at least be able to be with you, because you're being completely open.
Right.
Nothing worse in the world than being in a relationship or a connection where you have to hide parts of yourself or hide thoughts that you keep to yourself. That is never going to bring you closer in connection, and that is going to definitely never bring you closer in a relationship. Yeah. So you got to kind of look at, am I choosing somebody who's going to accept all of me and accept what I've been through and accept my connection? If they can't accept the connection you have to another person, can they accept the connection you have to yourself because of that other person? That's really what the ultimate question is.
Mhm.
So hopefully that gives you something to look at. Highly, that would be great. I'm not quite sure if I'm available at that time, but is it possible? For now, the question that comes up for me is if I'm not feeling like myself due to health issues and the same health issues I've been dealing with for almost a year now, would that affect my connection, my energy? It's funny because typing that out, I feel a big yes. I don't feel connected to myself when I feel so out of it from brain fog, debilitating fatigue, weight gain, moodiness, and depression. And I'm not any of these things when I'm in my normal, healthy state. I'm doing work to find out the root causes still. So you got something?
Yeah. I mean, oh, I'm looking for the actual question.
Over here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The basis is I'm not feeling myself. Right.
Mhm.
Right. How does that affect the connection?
Right.
Well.
Yeah, there's that.
I can't, I gotta stop saying it's different because it's not, but I feel like it is. And maybe this is something that's instilled in me, or it could be real. I don't know. I have this belief system where I'm a mom, so I think it's different if you're a mother, right?
Yeah.
Does that, because there's a nurturing side of you, a different type of nurturing side of you,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
That is there, and so when we grow up, we learn as humans, as moms, to have a higher pain tolerance because our pain has to be put on the back burner, right? We learn to put all of our emotions and our pain inside, right? Because no matter how many children we have, I happen to have 4, right? I don't have time to have a headache. I don't have time to have a broken foot. So I walk on it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have time to deal with a headache. So I work through it, right?
Right.
As mothers, we learn how to do that. There are times when we have to hold off from peeing literally for hours. And we get so busy, we forget and then have to really have to go.
Right.
Because we're so busy taking care of everybody around us that we hide how we're feeling until it just hits us so hard. It's so far gone.
Mm.
And the irritability's there.
Right.
Because nobody's cared about us. But we didn't care about us.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is, especially in my world, right? I don't have time. I don't have time to be sick. I don't have time to have cancer. I certainly don't have time to have cirrhosis. I don't have time to look at every label of everything I eat, right? I don't have time. I don't have time to figure out what's good for this, what's good for that, all this mess, right? What happens is stuffing. I'll just deal with that later. Until I get to that point where I have to vent. But then in our connection, it doesn't affect the connection. It affects the 3D aspect, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a temporary disconnect because I've carried so much pain. It could be physical pain that I have just went days and days and days untreated.
Right.
And it's just escalated and escalated and escalated and escalated. I don't feel myself, right?
Right.
But I expect you to look at me as if I do.
Right. I can see that.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't want to look sick, or I don't want to. I'm carrying a lot of things. You know what I mean? I'm feeling what she's feeling.
Right.
I'm not feeling myself, so I'm definitely going to try to look myself. I'm going to try to act like I'm myself, but inside I'm not.
Right. And that's probably what's causing the biggest disconnect that you're going to experience in connection.
Right.
Because the moment you start stuffing your emotions, you now have unanswered emotions that the other person you're connected to experiences.
Mhm.
When this goes in deep enough, it can cause a complete and total disconnect in connection.
Mhm.
And the thing is, you're not seeing yourself even looking at how you're connecting to your own emotions because you're putting them away for everybody else.
Right.
Meanwhile, everybody else doesn't know you're doing that.
Right. Right.
So they're going to feel like they're either
Right.
offset from you and they're going to start backing away from you, or
Mhm.
they're not going to reach out to you because your unanswered emotions you're putting on them, not yourself.
Right.
So when you actually have to go in and look at your own emotions and connect to those emotions, you're actually laying those on your inner child,
Mhm.
which is usually what silences an inner child
Mhm.
or a child at all. And you learn this growing up. You know what I mean? We learned a lot of different ways to stuff how we felt or stuff what we thought or
Mhm.
stuff. Once we actually started becoming in the practice of that, we
Mhm.
started becoming a self.
Mhm.
We have an identity that we're keeping based on stuffing things.
Right. Right.
And then we're waiting for somebody to try to connect to us.
Mhm.
Here comes this connection. You experience the relapse or the disconnect from your own self-judgment and you share it completely. And then all of a sudden you find your way back to not sharing it again.
Right.
And you got to be very mindful of this within yourself because this will disconnect you from yourself, which will disconnect you from the connection. The deeper you can go into those emotions, the more you can find what you're actually saying inside of yourself, the more you can connect. I see what you go through and I'm there and I can feel your energy and I can feel when you're stuffing it down. I can feel when you're hiding it. And I know how to walk through that wall without you actually getting so
Right.
upset. It's different when you actually know that exists.
You're
It's different. It's really different when you're not trying to think for the other person. The one thing that I've learned,
That's hard.
it's I don't know that it's hard
Oh,
as
it's
much
so hard.
as much as it is an infection of unanswered emotions.
Right. Right.
Because your unanswered emotions are going to there's a voice that comes from on the inside of you that tells you that those unanswered emotions, the person that you're with doesn't care about them. They don't care about what you're feeling. They don't care what you think. They want you to be a certain kind of way. They want you to do this. And you're saying that. And usually we see this a lot under the
Mhm.
spotlight. Hey, when they looked you in the eyes and said this to you, what did you say to them? And you can see the deer in the headlights look. Well, they didn't necessarily say this, but what they did, and it's like you completely lie about them saying it, and then you force them to say it, and then you disconnect as though, excuse me, as though they disconnected from you, not that you disconnected from yourself. And you don't see it.
Right.
And you'll continue the same pattern until you do see it. And then you'll think that they're the reason that this happened. I think it's really beautiful, some of the healing that we've seen people come into
Oh yeah.
when they're like, we need you to access that hurt.
Mm.
And then you need to tell us what your mind says when you do. Because that mind is feeding the hurt. The mind will feed the hurt and you don't even see it. You think they're feeding it. They're feeding it. They're not feeding shit. That's you. You learn to do it. You continue to do it. You don't even know how to stop doing it until somebody says, hey, why are you doing this to you? The simple way of looking at it, without it being complex, is what would happen if you were in this connection without any mind noise whatsoever to disrupt the connection. And if you do have mind noise, saying it to the other person makes a whole lot of sense. Because if you don't say it, you're not building connection, you're destroying it. Simple enough.
Seems to be, but
You never know.
I
I
wouldn't
may have to watch this 20
couple.
times because I've been saying alien shit for years. I don't know how to stop now, but I try to make it as simple as it could be. If something's in your heart, you're not saying it, then is your heart open or closed in connection?
It's for sure closed.
Yep.
But we tend to, as human beings, keep at least the door closed.
Mm.
Some people actually keep a couple deadbolts on.
Yeah, well, if you won't let somebody in your heart, what will you let them into? So let's see, we go back over here and see if we can find another question. Sorry, I kind of have to keep jumping.
Sorry,
around.
what would you do if your partner's kids did not accept the person they are connected to? Oh man, see, it's. I have a completely different I have an odd opinion, and I'm going to say opinion, or let's say belief system. I have an odd belief system. Not belief system on a lot of things, but this one's interesting too, because I have 4 kids, and let me tell you, my first 2. I have a middle daughter who is me at her age. That's all I'm saying about that. It's almost like they were so much standing in their power. We will not accept. We will not accept. We will not. And as soon as they saw us in the same room at the same time, it was like, oh, you know what I mean? And they almost didn't have a choice.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Even though vocally, right? And body language wise, even sometimes to this day, right? Leah's the devil. But they always come back to you. Yeah. They never come back to me. They always come back to you. It's so funny. It's almost like they had to feel our energy in the same room at the same time, and they got it without words or without anything. They got it. And they couldn't resist as much as they wanted to for principle or for stubbornness or whatever it is, right? It's if you're connected, I don't know how they cannot accept that.
I believe that I was carrying a lot of open, connected energy. I mean, I'm not, if even when you told me, hey, the kids have I'm like, well, they haven't really been in front of me to understand or even know what this connection is or who I am. So my openness and lack of being nervous, lack of feeling like, since the connection was strong enough, I felt connected to you in a way that I was completely open to them. That's what this connection is. Hearing those kinds of things, I really didn't even think about it. Really, it didn't affect me when I met them. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
I just let my openness be what they could accept. My understanding, my ability to keep my heart open no matter what, and keep my mind clear made all the difference. Because if you're in your head, and I'm in my head going, God, I wonder if they like me. I wonder if they this and that. If I'm going in my head about stuff, or, oh, they said that they really weren't going to accept me, and this, that really sets off the energy for them to have permission to do that. But I didn't walk in with that kind of energy. I walked in with an energy of, I totally accept that you don't accept me. Right. I totally accept that you can't accept me. I didn't make it that it was one way or the other. I kept my energy open so they could really kind of connect to me. So if you're looking for a way to do that, find out from the person you're connected to how they feel about those kids, because it really kind of is a two-way street. Make sure one of those streets doesn't have a sign that says dangerous curve ahead or dead end, because that's really why they have that permission to keep going. So here's another one. Could you help me understand the energy dynamic between twins? If one twin is engaged in significant energy work, energy healer, yoga enthusiast, and the other is not spiritual and therefore express that he does not believe in energy work, can they vibrate out of each other's experience? Or does their core soul vibration keep them alive? I've been pondering this for a while, but I'm curious about your take as you've discussed the time in your journey when you were intensely happy and Sherry did not seem to be at your level at that time.
Man, we have a couple clients, and one of them is a devout Christian and the other one is a devout atheist, and they are so balanced. It is unbelievable. Two completely different mindsets. Let me say that again. Mindsets, right? Their connection has nothing to do with their mindsets. They understand that their connection is soul made,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Their mind belief system and their mind process, right? It's amazing watching them interact. Well, I don't believe that, right?
Right.
And they poke and make fun, right? That I will, but your belief or whatever is that if it was up to you, I'd be burning in a lake for and don't make me send you there type of shit. You know what I mean? You can't send me to a place I don't believe in. So now what? The arguments are a trip. But
Okay.
but it's a balance. It's a 3D balance of it's a 3D balance of a 5D connection. It's really all about 5D beings living in a 3D world, raised in two completely different environments, but having a soul connection and honoring that soul connection more than honoring your 3D connection.
And you have to look at, I think what really ultimately we have found that when it comes to this separateness that gets created in that space of one who believes in spirituality and the other who doesn't, is do you accept that person for the way they are? Or are you not accepting them and realizing that when you did this, when you felt like, well, I can't be with them because they don't believe what I believe, or they don't do the same spiritual things that I do, or they're not into energy healing, or they don't believe in energy and that kind of stuff. And what they're looking for is somebody who's going to accept them. When you do this, do you send out the right energy and connection, or do you push them away? Right. I guess that's what it breaks down to is do you accept that this person isn't that way? Once you accept them, it's really interesting because when you accepted me for the way I was, that's when I changed.
Yeah.
You don't really see the point until I was always looking for somebody who's going to accept me. Mm-hmm. But when you accepted me, I was like, oh, it's like, okay, something's wrong with you or something's wrong with me. And I realized something was wrong with you.
I'm beginning to think there's definitely something wrong with you.
Well, there was a lot to it, though.
It takes an awful lot to put up with my pretty sick sense of humor. And now, ladies and gentlemen, that I have all this mess going on inside me and the jokes keep coming and they're all collared and they're really too soon, but not for me. Just to watch everybody's faces is kind of funny.
Yes. So the big thing is,
I don't know how you do it, but that's
in this particular scenario, acceptance. Do you accept them where they are? Do they accept you the way you are? If you don't accept them, don't worry, they're not going to accept you.
Right.
And they're not going to accept you because you don't accept them.
Right.
It literally just kind of, it's like a tug of war until you realize you're connected. Does what they believe matter?
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying? Right. And what their lifestyle is, do you accept it?
Right.
Because if you can find things you don't accept about yourself, you find things that you don't accept about them. And then you make sense of it. And then that sense of it usually causes separation.
Right. Yeah. And in a healthy environment, in a healthy 3D environment, when you have 5D connection, in a healthy 3D environment, a couple like an atheist and a devout Christian can live together and be in the same home and raise the happiest, healthiest, balanced kids. You know what I mean? That's still light fires and hit on each other, but that's how kids are. But and now we're raising kids to have a choice, their own choice, not what mom believes, not what dad believes, a solid choice that comes from their soul. Well, I don't believe what either one of you believe.
Right.
Okay, cool. We'll add some new posters to the wall. You know what I mean? I mean that it's a balance. It's a 3D balance of a 5D connection.
Yes, it is.
It's very much like a vegan living with a meat eater. You know what I mean? You can't use the same grill, buddy.
Yeah, that's true.
You just can't, but it can happen. It can, and it's a great balance.
How to deal with my twin who keeps making fake profiles. He keeps tricking me. I've called him up on this and just ignored him now. It annoys me because he seems to think I'm naive to not notice.
Why do you keep accepting strange profiles? because the first fake profile I found out was him. I wouldn't accept any more strangers.
I'm wondering how he gets accepted for being himself in his own profile.
Ooh.
I mean, I think that becomes the bigger question.
Yeah.
I mean, why does he have to make fake profiles to reach out to? If you have him blocked, have you been direct with why you blocked him? Because sometimes they're creating this to get back in because they feel you don't accept them or like them for who they are.
I would just open it all up, and if they message and
Yeah.
you're feeling toxic, and you don't even, you know what? The great thing about social media is you don't have to answer.
Mm. Mm.
It's pretty easy. It doesn't matter if they looked at it or not, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it'll say my message has been read, and I won't answer it for 4 hours later. You know why? Perhaps I was driving, didn't want to kill my family, right?
It doesn't work that way. You need to answer right now.
right now. It's so annoying.
Yeah.
Um,
your family safety is not that important.
Yeah.
That's how it feels, right? Okay. How to handle feeling his sexual energy all the time and feeling his higher self around you most of the time. We actually still have that.
What is it?
Accepting how to handle feeling his sexual energy all the time and feeling his higher self around you most of the time.
Oh.
Yeah, that if you don't create space will never happen.
Right.
So even if it's a sexual energy, I mean, let's face it, we're on planet Earth, and we know that sexual union is the most pure thing that people can come to the state of bliss and oneness. But sometimes it gets taken to an extreme it probably doesn't need to. So how do you communicate how you feel about his sexual energy being around you all the time? And is there a place on the inside of you where you're blocking that off? Is there a space on the inside of you where you're accepting? And what would it be if you just needed to accept it? Because what happens is it doesn't go on forever. I mean, we're not really paying attention to how often we can actually feel the person we're connected to. So when it shows up, is it because that's the only thing available is sexual energy, not emotional energy, not spiritual energy, not physical energy, so on and so forth. I mean, it's almost like you have a whole list of things that show up in this connection. How often do you find yourself pulling all of those energies into you because you're connected to those things in yourself? So, what do you think?
I'm resonating with that.
You resonate with that?
I want to. Are you finished with that one?
Yeah.
Okay, because I want to address Mama T's. She said something earlier, like, is he feeling what I'm feeling? And I'm going to say this: he's feeling what you're feeling, but he's not thinking what you're thinking. That's what you have to focus on. He's feeling what you're feeling, but he's not thinking what you're thinking.
Why is that?
Selfish.
Raised two different ways. The way that we feel things, we interpret from thought. And then when we're interpreting that thought, we actually prolong a lot of our hurts based on that.
Right.
So,
well, I mean, he must not, he can't, he don't care. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And those types of things.
And in his mind, you don't want to hear from him.
But what he's feeling is what she's feeling. He don't care. He uses me. He's a piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
So
you've gone through that.
Yeah. So
wasn't with me.
When you start feeling better,
mm-hmm.
then you start thinking better.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if there is such thing.
Right. But it's a circle. Right, he's going to pick up on what you're feeling, right, and you're going to pick up on less of what you think he's thinking. Right.
Okay. Let's see. Where was I? We got time for one more because we do have a session we got to get to. My TF recently got married to my former friend. He seems really happy, but I'm alone, struggling with trauma and depression. I don't know how to deal with that, accept that, or let go. Any tips? Yes. What is it about this connection that you feel that you were completely connected to yourself for. Start focusing there. When you look back at your time with this person you're connected to, if you spent time together, or if you guys were in a relationship at some point, or if you were never in a relationship, what is it about the connection you have to them that reflects back to you your connection to yourself? And focus there, because maybe there's something there that's still trying to get your attention. And that needs to be gone into. When it comes to the connection to yourself, when you choose alone, when you choose struggling, when you choose depression and trauma, and I'm using the word choose as though I'm pointing at your consciousness can see that you are allowing thought patterns to do stuff to you. Mm. Are you utilizing that consciousness to just embrace what the feeling is without telling yourself what a name for it is? Whether it be alone, whether it be depression, whether it be trauma. The slower you can slow yourself down in that space, the more you can change your connection to yourself, which changes connection in general. Sometimes it does take a little bit deeper work, because sometimes the wound that you actually are experiencing is one you inherited as a child or got as a child. So you want to look at what this connection means to you when it comes to your own inner child. Hopefully that helps you out a lot. You want to do one more?
Yeah.
Okay. Was trying to say, he knows about me. How do I get past this craziness I feel about him? Let me go up and see if I can find her first one. A guy I know that I have, well, I'm not sure if that's the same thing. So I'm trying to figure out what you're saying here, Andrea. If you could just message or clarify what that means. In the meantime, I'll drop down here.
About me. How do I get past this craziness I feel about?
Here's a good one. I can show up for my divine masculine while also showing up for myself, self-love and respect. And how does your DF feel like on the inside when you're doing that? I think I'm finding it sometimes. I find myself out of balance in my divine feminine and my divine masculine.
Because I carry mostly divine masculine.
Well, you carry divine feminine too. I'm
Very
saying,
little.
I'm saying I
need to find different Shiva lingams.
Yeah.
A little bit more
but
feminine.
We in this space we have two different belief systems.
Yeah.
And my belief system looks at the divine as both are encompassed in the divine. So when I'm looking at how I could be either in my feminine or in my masculine as it pertains to connection to myself, I find myself out of balance in that space, especially to my own inner child. Because sometimes when you have your masculine and your feminine, you sometimes still pick up those bad behaviors, bad habits, bad things to say, just like you did when you're growing up. And you say those things to yourself. I'm catching myself more, but I still don't feel the balance of it. So I believe the question here really kind of points to the divine masculine being of self-love and respect. How many masculines or divine masculines do we know that actually have self-love? Self-love is a very interesting thing.
There's a few out there, but
right?
It's few.
Because we have seen, even just if you're looking at connection as a whole, one of the hardest things to do in this connection is to receive love from the person you're connected to. It is the biggest struggle that we all have that we're not talking about. Where did you learn to receive love from a man or a woman? Or where did you learn to receive love, period? Seems to be one of the most difficult things for people to answer that make any kind of sense. Because when it comes to love, if your definition doesn't match what you're receiving, you're usually going to feel kind of isolated and disconnected. So how have you shared what love is to you, and how did you tell them you receive it?
Right.
And it's not about love languages as much as it is what you have in your head versus what's in your heart. Something food for thought. When it comes to self-love, self-love would include receiving love. How do you receive love from others? How do you receive love from yourself? Everybody knows how to give it because we're all taught how to give everything, but nobody ever learned how to receive anything. And we all know to push stuff away. So this would be great for you guys to kind of message below and try to put, how do you receive love? Let's see what that looks like.
That would be interesting to see.
Yeah, it really would.
We are going to leave you we have a session. Again, thank you for all the well wishes, all the healing energy. Look, this cancer's in my blood. So, I strongly believe that healing energy, Reiki, all this great juju will work. I believe in it. I believe in what I'm flooding my system with. I'm watching what I put in my mouth. I'm very selective of what goes in my mouth. It's changed my entire life and outlook on life. So I thank you for all your well wishes, all the kind words, all that amazing stuff. Again, my Caring Bridge site is on here.
Yes, I did post it.
And I just wish for no GoFundMe's, none of that stuff. If you are interested in helping and would like to purchase a package either for yourself or for somebody else, if you would like to purchase a root camp package and donate it, or just one session or a series of sessions, or actually anything that we offer, you put in I'd like to help, and we'll give you a discount on your packages. So that's what we want to do, and we want to continue to help people go into healing. And if you don't have the time or feel like a program will be best suited for someone else, you can certainly gift it to anybody you want to, or we can take somebody off of our waiting list.
Absolutely.
Our information, you can find us at relationshipreinvented.com right here as well. You can email us at info at relationshipreinvented.com. Facebook, Twin Flame Work Group by Relationship Reinvented.
So we're going to be doing a show next week. It looks like we're doing. On the 16th, we're doing a podcast with. I'll put the information out there so you have it. And at the end of the month, we're going to be doing a panel interview with another couple sets of twins. You guys might have seen us.
A panel interview. That'll be fun.
Panel interview. It'll be fun. So, we'll be doing that. We are supposed to be touring, but we have to watch where we go because Sherry is really kind of susceptible to any kind of diseases or other illnesses out there. She can't get the flu. She can't go to where there's coronavirus. So there's a lot of stuff that we can't do, but we're going to try to make as much of it work as possible. I know that there's a few places we have to travel to for health reasons, so we'll definitely be doing stuff while we're there. Mostly some of that will be on the West Coast. Some of that may be south or north of where we are right now.
Got some friends in California trying to get me to Mexico. I'm good for it.
Absolutely.
We got to get to Mexico. So I guess the closest route to that's through California.
California.
We're going to throw me in a trunk.
Bunch of places.
We're going to throw me in a trunk. We're going to get me across this border.
We are going to be doing. We're looking at doing. There's going to be a free webinar. If we're not going to be able to travel, we will do something where we can bring you guys all in, and we can do a Zoom where you guys can ask questions, whether you want to be on video, whether you just want to use voice, or even if you just want to post comments and questions, that kind of thing. We're going to be doing stuff like that, so that way we're still out there, still helping, and still healing. We love you guys. Thank you for taking time with us today, and of course, we shall see you soon. We'll try not to be gone too long this time.
Yeah.
See ya.